everybody. My name is Dr. Erica Ellis. I'm a mindfulness-based clinical psychologist focusing on mind, body, brain issues. So today I want to talk to you guys about trauma and the news, actually, and how the news has the potential to re-trigger us or re-traumatize those of us who've had trauma. So in order to do that, I need to first talk about the nature of trauma and what I mean by retraumatization. As you might recall from one of my previous talks, the analog brain and the digital mind, according to Stephen Porges, the brain is an evolutionary structure. It's designed to keep us safe, and it scans the world around us to see if we're safe or if we're in danger. And if we're in danger, if it perceives danger, then our nervous system, our fight-flight system revs us up, and it gets us ready to run or to fight. But if we can't run or fight that danger, then the danger becomes inescapable, or what Porges calls fatal danger. And in this case, our body shuts down, or it immobilizes. It goes into hiding, or collapsed, or dissociation, or frozen. This is a last-ditch effort to survive, and it conserves blood flow to the brain. So Pat Ogden, who's the founder of sensory motor psychotherapy and a somatic psychologist, explains that trauma happens in the transition from danger, where we're all revved up, to shutdown, where we're frozen. So I'm going to explain this by way of example, and by way of example in child abuse. And before I do that, I just want to note that if you've had child abuse or someone you know has been abused, you want to take care in this explanation. Make sure your feet are on the ground and that you're breathing, because just the explanation can be very triggering to listen to. So here's what happens. If someone is abused, particularly a child, their system will rev up into danger, but oftentimes the perpetrator is too big or too strong for a child to really effectively fight off or escape. And in that case, the child will try and fight, and then will go into shutdown or dissociation mode, right? And it's in this moment, right, when the child goes into dissociation mode or shutdown, that the trauma happens. Because their body has revved up all of these sensations, right, for fight and flight, all of this adrenaline, and it's now fragmented. It's as if it didn't reach its intended destination. Pat Ogden calls this that the body didn't actualize its intention for movement, and that the sensations have not been sequenced through. Right? So they're kind of floating around, and they can creep back up on us if the trauma is re-triggered unconsciously. So this happens in the form of flashbacks, in the form of high levels of arousal or nightmares. And this is retraumatization. So when we start having these triggers happen, we feel as if we're experiencing it all over again. We don't know the difference. We don't know that it's something that happened and is over. It still feels like it's happening, because in the body, it is. So in order to avoid retraumatization, we have to be connected to these sensations and connected to the body. This is why casually talking about trauma, and even psychotherapies that focus only on telling the story and not being connected to the body, can in and of themselves really do damage. Research has shown that somatic psychologies, like Pat Ogden's sensory motor psychotherapy, and other modalities that use the body and use mindfulness to be connected to the trauma, like eye movement desensitization reprocessing, this is called EMDR, have been very effective in sequencing these sensations once and for all, so that you can put to rest the flashbacks and the nightmares. The tricky thing is that the triggers, the things that creep up on us in our unconscious, are not always things related to the trauma itself. It could be something more vague, like the sound of a voice, or a color, a smell, a feeling, but not necessarily the circumstance, person, or the story itself. Which is to say, there's a broad scope of things that can re-trigger us. And I'm thinking about that in the context of the news, because these days, the news are so ubiquitous. You could barely get through your day without push notifications or a ticker tape at the bottom of a CNN screen or NPR in the car, with oftentimes pretty horrific things going on in the world. So whether it's increasing threats from ISIS, shootings in Baltimore, earthquakes in Nepal, there's any number of things that could hook in to unconscious, traumatized parts of ourselves and end up leaving us re-triggered, re-traumatized. So of course it's a great thing to be connected to the news, connected to the world. It definitely empowers us to take action, to support people, to advocate people around the world. But we first have to be sure that we're advocating and supporting ourselves and our own underlying experiences in our bodies as we go through our day and are watching those ticker tapes and listening to the NPR. Be sure that you're breathing and you're connected to your body. That's it for today. Thanks very much.